Hello judges, today my team will be presenting about our math project which is based on a game called Potato Pirates. So Potato Pirates is a computer coding based popular local card game. And our project is to calculate the possibility of obtaining the best card combinations in the first 7 draws. So what is Potato Pirates? Potato Pirates is a 3 to 6 players set collection elimination style game, and every player starts with 5 cards and 2 ships. There would be 7 Potato Kings hidden randomly within the card deck, and the objective of the game is to be the first to either collect all 7 Potato Kings or roast, mash and fry all other potatoes. Basically, the main objective is to be the last player with potatoes. And we can do this by powering up our attacks with programming concepts such as if loops and conditionals. So the rules of the game is that 3 to 6 players will each have a set of cards, some ships and a few potatoes throughout the game. Shuffle the deck. Players begin with 5 cards, 2 ships and 20 potatoes, divided evenly between both ships. Each ship will have 1 big potato which represents 5 small potatoes and 5 small potatoes. Place both ships face up in anchor mode, basically the darker side of the cardboard ship. All remaining cards become the draw pile, and you will always draw 2 cards at the start of your turn. Program an attack on an enemy ship by placing cards on the anchored ship, and acquire all 7 Potato Kings or be the last person with a ship to win. The rules specify that each ship can hold a maximum of 3 cards. It must have at least 1 action card to attack. Players may choose to pass their turn. They may attack by turning their ship to battle mode, which is the light side of the cardboard ship, and discard the ship's cards. Each ship can only enter battle mode or attack once per turn. At any time during the game, except when another player attacks them, a player can redistribute their potato crew amongst the anchored ships. Ships must have at least 1 potato. A ship sinks when it has no potatoes left, and a player is eliminated when all their ships have sunk. Purple surprise cards can be used at any time during the game. As there has been no sightings of other reports on the Potato Pirates game, our paper is original. However, we have gained inspiration from reports on other probability games, such as this one on Chor Tai Ti. So now I'll be talking about the cards. Firstly, we have 32 action cards which are green in color. There are 3 types of action cards: roast, mash and fry. These cards allow players to destroy potatoes on board other ships in order for the ships to sink. Roast cards destroys 1 potato, mash cards destroys 2 potatoes and fry cards destroys 3 potatoes. Next, we have 24 control cards, which is orange in color. There are only 3 types of control cards. Firstly, we have the for x, y times card, where x is the number of hand cards the opponent has and y is the number of ships you have. Secondly, we have the while number potatoes on target ship is greater than 4, 5 or 6 cards. This is basically representing while loops in actual programming. Lastly, we have the if-else cards. Basically, it has to fulfill a condition, else it will do something else. Note that these cards can only be used with action cards. They are used to team up with action cards to power up the attacks on enemy ships. Next, we have 22 surprise cards, which are purple in color. There are 5 types of surprise cards: recruit, hijack, loot, switch and deny. These cards can be played at any time during the entire game. Recruit allows you to add 2 potatoes to any of your ships. Hijack allows you to steal an enemy ship, including all the cards on it. Loot allows you to steal 2 cards from any opponent's hand at random. Switch gives different rewards based on how many ships you have. And Deny allows you to reject certain actions made by other players. Lastly, we have 7 Potato King cards, which are blue in color. These cards are also known as bug cards. Just like in coding, these cards represent the bugs that can occur in your code when you are trying to write out a program. When a Potato King card is drawn or changed possession, the player must show the card to the rest of the players and all of them will need to shout "All Hail!" The last to do so has to give 2 potatoes to the owner of the Potato King card from their own ship. Next, I'll be talking about the assumptions that we make. Firstly, there is no limit to the number of potatoes per ship. Secondly, the best offensive and defensive combination of cards depends on the situation. Thirdly, the deck of cards is shuffled properly before the game. And lastly, the cards are handed to players all at once, meaning 7 cards to the first player since they're going to have to draw 2 cards in the second round, and 5 cards to the other players.
Okay, now we'll be setting about our findings. So the first offensive combo that we have is we need 1 wow more than 4 potatoes card, 1 for X times card, and 1 fry 3 potatoes card. So at the end of the attack, they will have at most 4 potatoes left on their ship. And for the second one, we have we need 2 for X times card and 1 fry 3 card. So the damage will be equal to 3 times the number of cards on the opponent's hand times the number of cards on the opponent's hand. That's a lot of damage. And for the third one, we have we need 1 wow more than 4 potato card and 2 fry 3 potato card. So as long as the ship has more than 4 potatoes, it will take away 6 potatoes in this example. Then for the fourth one, we have 1 for X times card and 2 fry 3 cards. So the damage will be equal to 6 times the number of cards in the opponent's hand. And then there will be this is fixed damage. Of course, you don't want to use the X times card where the opponent has no hand cards. Yeah. And then for this one, we have we need 1 wow 4 card and 1 roast 1 card. So this one only uses 2 cards and is very, very good for bringing down a ship's number of potatoes. However, it is not good. It is less effective when the ship has a smaller number of potatoes. Okay, so it is advisable not to add a base damage card before the wild card, because with an attack using this combo, the fry 3 comes before the loop. So this is less effective. And the base damage card cannot be added after the loop, as it will be considered part of the loop. And it can only be done if there's another ship for the damage card. Okay, for now we're moving on to starting probabilities. Right? Okay, so as logic dictates, probabilities of pulling a specific card, it goes up every time another card gets pulled, and it goes down every time you pull that specific card. So for action cards, be it a roast, mash or fry card, it has a total of 37.6% chance to pull a action card. For Potato Kings, you have an 8.2% chance of pulling one. For surprise cards, you have about 26% chance to pull one. And for control cards, you have 28.2% chance to put one. So all of these chances are at the start of the game, right? So as the game goes on, the number changes, yeah? So some possible scenarios you can have. So the chance of all 7 potato kings drawn in the first 7 draws. So you're probably the first person to draw. And the chance of that is very low, as you can see. So that's probably not gonna happen. And then for the chance of no potato kings drawn in the first 15 draws, it is about 21.9% chance. For no potato kings drawn in the first 20, that would be 12.6% chance. For the first 25, that will be 6.1% chance. For the first 30, that will be 3.60, and for the first 35 is 1.74. So more often than not, you are going to get a potato king within your players. So be ready to salute the new potato king, yeah? Don't lose your potatoes, guys. Next, we'll be moving on to methodology. So we calculated the probability of drawing the limited combo, which is wow and a roast one card. So we chose the first 7 draws because you get 5 at the start and you get 2 after that, right? So what is the probability? So for this, we will be using a key. A or B is the one that we want, and then for the X is the one that we do not need. So for example, XA, XB, XX, X. So this means that on the first draw, the first one is an unwanted, second one is a wow, the third one is you don't want that, and then after that you have the roast one card. Then after that, because you already have the card that you want, the next tree can be any card the next tree can be any card. So we do not need to put a probability behind. So we put this on the table. This is gonna scare you, but we'll just, and then the total probability is 9.86%. So it is actually pretty common to get it, but it doesn't mean that 1 in every 10 you will get it.
Roast 1 potato cards are best used for attacking ships for just enough damage to take them out, by pairing it with Mesh 2, Fry 3 or Wild cards. Mesh 2 potato cards cause more damage than Roast 1 cards. However, it is less flexible. It can be used as a substitute for either Fry 3 or Roast 1 cards. Fry 3 potato cards have the highest base damage. It can be paired with Mesh 2 and/or Roast 1 cards to take the other ships out, or with 4x, y, 2 or 3 times to deal lots of damage to healthy ships. Using the if else card depends on the conditions listed. An attack will then be carried out on ships that meet the given conditions. Using this card is great at the earlier parts of the game when there are lots of ships on the field. However, it becomes less effective as the number of ships cut down in the later parts of the game. The Wild card is a strong loop card to maximize damage regardless of the potato cards one has in their hand. Using this card is best used to wipe out the majority of the potatoes on a particular ship in a single turn. For Y times card is less powerful than the 4x times card, as you are less likely to have as many ships as compared to the number of hand cards. It is best used with 1 or 2 Fry 3 cards to deal with the most damage to a single target. It is most effective if the user has more than one ship. 4x times card is an extremely powerful multiplier, especially when your opponent has many hand cards. It is best used with 1 or 2 5-3 cards to deal with the most damage to a single target. Deny surprise cards are extremely useful when it comes to counterplay, as they can be used at any time to neutralize any form of action performed. For example, when player 1 has obtained the limiter combo or any other combos and has targeted a player, in this case player 2, if player 2 has a deny card in his or her possession, it would be best to play the deny card. The chances of player 1 getting a deny card is 6/85 during his or her first draw of 7 cards. Therefore, it presents a low risk of player 2's deny card being countered with player 1's deny card. It is advisable to use deny cards when players are going to be dealt with a lot of damage. Since during the first turn, no player can attack. Hence, players can use this to their advantage if they have a hijack card in their possession. A hijack card is used to steal a whole ship with the cards on it. This card is best used when the opponent has placed down a strong combination of cards that will deal a lot of damage, so that not only does a player who played the hijack card get an extra ship, but he or she would also have obtained that strong combination of cards to attack the others. This card should be used wisely. Depending on the number of chips a player owns, he or she can use this card to serve different purposes. If players own at least 2 ships and have a switch card, they could use it to select a card of their own choice from the discard pile. There are 2 main choices when it comes to picking a card from the discard pile. Firstly, if none of the players poses any threat, it will be advisable to select a card to start a strong combo. Else, if a player is looking for a possible counterplay to a potentially strong attack, it would be advisable to pick surprise cards like deny cards or hijack cards to prevent being attacked. To conclude, we managed to find out the probability of getting the limiter combo in the first 7 turns, which was 9.86%. Since players can only obtain the limiter combo at 9.86% for the first 7 turns, it is not wise for them to wait for the combo to occur. Instead, players should use other strategies stated to optimize his or her winning chances. Make do with what you have in order to deal with the most damage. Improvise and do not rely completely on our given strategies.